We've got the Traeger Ironwood 885 versus the Masterbuilt Gravity Series 800. And today we're doing brisket, full packer brisket as a matter of fact. So let's go ahead and cut this thing open and rinse it off. So when you do a full packer brisket, you got to trim it. There's a lot of loose stuff that we got to take off, but most importantly, we're trying to reduce the amount of fat on here. I've got the point and the flat. That's what a full packer brisket is. What I do is I'm going to cut as much of the really hard kind of decal kind of fat from in between the point and the flat. So that way the point's going to rest as flat as possible, so that way I can get an even cook. Look at all that fat I've taken out of it. Alright, let's keep rolling. Look how much flatter it is. We want to have about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of fat cap on this thing. So we're just going to kind of trim it down and just work away. It's almost like whittling. You just kind of keep going, taking off small amounts at a time, and then seeing where you can take off more. So I'm going to get a little bit more between the point and the flat here. And it's starting to look pretty good. Now we'll do the other side. And you can see here's some really hard fat. That hard fat doesn't reduce down when you're cooking it. It doesn't melt away. So I'm taking about 1/2 inch strips out at a time because I don't want to end up going all the way through the point and the flat, because like I said, I'm not going to separate them. Normally I would, because I like to make burnt ends with the point. But for the sake of today's comparison, we're going to do full packer briskets. And there we go. It's looking good. I'm going to trim up the other one and we'll get ready to rub them. Look at how much fat I've taken out of this thing. I mean, it was sitting up, the point was sitting up about that high. And we've been able to bring it down to where we really have a kind of a consistent size. And that's going to give us a great cook. Everything's going to be done just at the right time. Killer Hogs brisket rub, it's a real good mix of salt, pepper, garlic, which is all you need to make an awesome brisket. I'm going to sprinkle this all over. I'm not going to put too much on. You can definitely get too salty if you're not careful. Just get a nice coating, and then we're going to let it sit for probably about 7 hours in the fridge and let all those flavors kind of come together. Alright, if you want to be a brisket guy, you are going to have to learn to cook at night. These things are going to take 14 to 16 hours. I got to get it started. It's 10 p.m. We're going to go ahead and get my grills ready and let them warm up. I'm going to fire up the Masterbuilt, which I use a little fire stick on the side just under the charcoal hopper, where I have charcoal and cherry wood already placed in there. When I turn it on, it automatically is set to 225, which will let it warm up at that temp, but I am going to bring them both down to 205. And these briskets are ready. They've been sitting about 7 hours. And we'll go ahead. So what I've done is I've put a foil pan on the bottom grate. I'm going to put the brisket in the middle grate, kind of forcing air to come up and over it, and it'll also collect all the tallow and fat and keep my grill clean. But most importantly, it'll give me an even temperature. And I do have an ambient temperature monitor I'm using through my Inkbird Bluetooth probe to make sure it stays consistent. I'm going to do the same thing over here on my Traeger, which I've got 50-60 cooks on this thing. I know how the temps work on here. And so yeah, we'll get them going. I always use the Inkbird probe. Fireboard's a good one too. I just don't trust the stock probes. So we got both grills set to 205, and we'll let them roll till tomorrow morning, till about 6 a.m. Gonna check them in about 8 hours. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Alright, it's 6 a.m. I've turned the grills up to 225. I'm going to finish the cook at 225. And look at this. Wow, it is looking amazing. I'm getting some great bark. The color's looking fantastic. My ambient temp probe has shown the Masterbuilt stays within a few degrees of its setting, so it's doing pretty well. And we'll check the Traeger. Oh, this thing looks amazing too. So they're both coming along great. Like I said, I've turned them both up to 225, and we'll let them go until we hit the stall. Once we hit the stall, we will go ahead and wrap them in some butcher paper. My hopper's about half empty over here, And I have added charcoal to this. At about 9 hours in, it was pretty empty. So I added some more coal and wood to it. Didn't fill it all the way up, but filled it to where it's probably about 75% full. Thinking that'll get me through the rest of the cook. Alright, we'll let them roll. Alright, here we are. You can see we kind of hit the stall, which will happen to you between like 155 and 170, where the temp just kind of grinds to a halt. You can see that the Masterbuilt's at 162. So I'm going to pull it off, and we're going to go ahead and get it wrapped in some butcher paper, which is the Texas Crutch. And what that does is it protects your bark from getting too dry. It also helps speed the cook along, and using butcher paper, it creates a wicking. They call it wicking. What that means is that it allows a lot of the fat to still kind of drip out, so you're not completely braising it like you would if you put it in foil. So it allows the moisture to escape, but still protects the bark at the same time. So we'll just wrap this up in some peach butcher paper. We'll go ahead and get them both wrapped up here in a second. You can hear my son playing video games in the background. It's what happens when you have a 9-year-old. He doesn't care if you're making a video or not. He's going to be a wild man. So there we go. We're wrapped up. That's the Masterbuilt. And we'll go ahead and just put this thing right back in where it was, and I'm going to put the probe, try to find, really the same spot. I'm trying to get into the dead center of the meat if possible, and we'll just keep an eye on it. Grab my probe, and try to find a really good spot here. And we're looking good. All right. Now we've got the Traeger. We'll go ahead and get this one wrapped up. Same thing. Alright, so they've both been back on the grill for a couple of hours. You can see the Masterbuilt's already up to 196. I usually start probing them about 195 to see if they're probe tender. So once they're probe tender, they're done. And the Masterbuilt is done. It's already probe tender. That doesn't mean the Masterbuilt's a better grill or the Traeger's, every cut of meat cooks at a different time, and their doneness temp is always different. So it's all about the feel of it, and this is probe tender, so it is ready to come off. And probe tender means the probe goes in like butter, there's no resistance. So go ahead and pull this off, and I am going to get it wrapped in some foil. Bring it inside. And we'll wrap it in some foil, and then I'm going to place it in an empty cooler and put some big towels on top of it, and that's going to keep it really warm. Let it kind of finish releasing all of its juices and fats, and really kind of help it all come together. You could let it sit for up to 3 hours like this. It'd be great. And then when the Traeger's done, which it only took about another 45 minutes or an hour for the Traeger to come up, and we put that in here too the same way. And then we rested them for 2 hours. So now they're ready to go. All right, let's open this up and take a look. Oh, I can't wait. It's like opening a Christmas present. I wrapped this one a little too good, I guess. Oh, the smell, you guys. I wish I could transfer that somehow on video. But look at that. It is, oh yeah, man. Look at the bark. This thing is looking fantastic. Yeah, this is gonna be great. Alright, now let's take a look at the Masterbuilt. See how we did over there. Let's rip this bad boy open. Oh yeah. I'll tell you from first glance, they both look fantastic. Here's the Masterbuilt. The color, I mean, this thing looks so good, man. I am ready to get after it. So we'll go ahead and slice away. I'm gonna slice where I can get slice through the point and the flat, so you guys can kind of see how it's all kind of cooked and looks great. Oh, look at that smoke ring. Oh, yeah, this thing is awesome. All right, let's do the Traeger. This thing's like butter. Oh yeah, man, hell yeah. So whoever says you can't get a smoke ring with pellet grills has never tried a pellet grill, because look at that ring. That looks fantastic. Oh, this is gonna be killer. So far, they both look amazing. I mean, it's a tie to me right now. The smoke ring on the Masterbuilt is a little thicker though. Go ahead and slice this up. We like nice big slices over here in my house. Juicy, it's great. Let's see how the bend is. Oh, that bend is perfect. It bend, but it don't break. Yeah, man, the juice is coming out of this bad boy. Whew! I cannot wait. This is gonna be good. Oh. Now we'll do the Traeger. And look at how, I mean, honestly, guys, look how easy it was. I cooked 2 briskets last night. It's easy. People that are afraid of cooking briskets, guys, it's one of the easiest things to cook if you're just willing to put in the time. That's the only thing, is it takes time. You can't rush it. Let's see how the bend looks on this. I mean, this looks amazing. Oh, the bend on this is perfect too. Look at that. Oh. All right, well, I'm gonna go enjoy this this great food with my family. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And man, I don't know who won this one, Traeger or Masterbuilt. Why don't you guys let me know in the comments? Thanks a lot. Keep it meaty.